All right, so I keep forgetting that I have things like this that are an option for the LED lights. This really is annoying. I don't know why I would want this. Who wants this? I mean, obviously, if you're doing like a dance club, maybe. But, like, what other function could this possibly have? Alrighty, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to actually talk about something that I didn't know wasn't common knowledge, or at least not well known the way I've described it, rather. So I was doing a coaching session with somebody not that long ago, and we were talking about character voices. And I gave them my character sheet, and they were going over it, and we did a few characters. We didn't have time to do all of them, but it did give me an idea that going into like characters would be, beneficial to them. And so I was talking about, the character library, the character, Rolodex, which is the first term that I ever heard. Of course, nobody nowadays knows what a Rolodex is. So character playlist or character library is the most common term these days. It's also sometimes referred to as the character voice toolbox kind of thing. And basically what this is, and I did a poll on Twitter to see how many people that followed me actually knew what this was, and pretty much no one, at least as of right now, no one seemed to know what those terms meant. Character toolbox, character playlist, character, library, stuff like that. So basically, anytime I do a coaching session or do a poll and I find out that it's something that people don't really know, that basically is a dead giveaway that this is a video that I need to do. So the idea is, and it goes by many other names, but the idea is it's a catalog of voices and characters that you have readily at your disposal. And these are characters that you have basically gotten really, really used to, that you could read any script as, with their personality, with their voice, with their accent, what have you. Pretty much any script you can be given, and you can easily read it as that character. And these are just a bunch of characters that you do on a regular basis. That's basically it. And it's something that is very beneficial to a character voice actor. And I've talked about this many times before, but again, not as it's in its own video. It's very beneficial to a character voice actor for many reasons to have this kind of repertoire. Now, obviously, these are not the only voices that you can do. These are not the only characters that are available to you, but these are the ones that come the easiest to you. These are the ones that you've been doing the most. These are the ones that are just natural for you. And basically what it is that, let's say you get an audition, and there's the sides, and there is the character description. Well, the character description is going to, if you have a wide variety of characters in your toolbox, playlist, what have you, then there's going to be at least one character that's going to immediately come to mind. Even if they're not perfect, they're at least a launching off point or a cornerstone for you to start with the audition. Now, let's say it's like an old goofy wizard character. I have a couple choices. I have a wizard voice, and I have a kind of a old prospector voice, and then I have like more like posh English accent characters. Now, another thing is to name these characters. Now, they don't have to be named. You don't have to give them like a first and a last name. You don't have to give them like a Christian surname or anything like that. Basically, all you're doing is you're giving them a title or a name, and that way you can easily remember them or easily pull from them. Something that remembers them. Like I just said, I have a goofy wizard voice. I have a prospector voice, that kind of stuff. And if I read a script and it's like goofy, high-pitched, or high energy, I'm probably going to go with the one that sounds a little bit more like the prospector, which I actually did for The Hero We Need, which is a top-down, real-time tower defense strategy game. And there's a character who's like a wizard, and he had more high fun energy. So instead of going with my kind of like typical wizard voice, I went with more of the kind of goofy prospector voice. They're both relatively within the same age range, more or less, in my head. But one of them delivers lines they deliver lines very differently from each other. But reading over it and reading the description of the character, there was one voice that I was easily able to just pull from as at least my first attempt, my initial thought. Now, then as I read through it and as I read the lines, I will tweak the voice. I will change the voice. I'll change the character. But now I have something to go off of. I have something that I've developed muscle memory for, a voice that and a character that I've done so many times that it's very easily for me to just snap right into it and just go right into the read. And then as I go on, I can tweak it. So if I need to make him sound older, I need to slow him down, I need to speed him up, I need to add some stutter or whatever, I can tweak it slightly so it doesn't sound so it sounds more like what they need. But again, I'm still going off the original basis voice that I've already established. So basically, the idea is this is something that makes it a lot easier for you to do character auditions and also do projects, because the alternative is for you to try to create from scratch a voice or a character that you haven't really done before. And there's a couple reasons you need to get ahead of this and have these kinds of at least cornerstone characters well established. Is number one, you're wasting a lot of time trying to just create a voice you've never done, trying to fake an accent you've never really practiced, or hitting a range, whether it's high pitch or low pitch voices, that you're not comfortable in. So you're looking at an audition, you really want this audition, but you have nothing to basically use as a launching off point. And so now, if it's a voice that you haven't done before, or it's something that's not in an area that's comfortable and familiar, it's going to be very hard for you to keep that voice consistent. That's one of the problems. So as you're reading, if you were to get the role, as you're reading, the voice is going to change. It's going to get higher, lower, or if it's a voice that's straining, voice that's really hurting you, then your voice is going to get hoarse, and it's going to have less articulation, it's going to have less clarity, it's going to have less character to it. So you don't want to do that. That's another reason that you do not want to do that. And then you're also wasting time because you're just trying to create something from scratch. So you need to, have these things ready to go. And this is kind of funny, and this kind of explains why I see so many people on Twitter and various other social media platforms that they will post something where it's got two pictures of a character, and they're like, "Can you believe that this is done by the same person?" And I'm always like, "Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to do more than one voice if you're a character actor. You're supposed to. That's good. That's normal. Who thinks that this isn't normal? You don't do voices that are like." So I know a lot of, especially people that are like influenced by anime, want to get into anime. Most character voices in anime, for the most part, just sound like them with slight deviation, with slight pitch alteration, or maybe slight accents. But the majority of like animation, cartoon, and video game, most people who get that kind of work, none of that sounds like them, ever. It's very much not like them. And it's supposed to be that way. This shouldn't be a surprise. This should be motivation. You should be happy. You should be like, hey, I want to be able to do this many voices. But it shouldn't be like shocking and surprising to people. It's normal. It's normal. There's so many character voice actors that do a crap ton of unique sounding voices that sound nothing like them. That's your goal. And one of the ways to achieve that is to have these kinds of muscle memory characters already stored away in your memory. Now, here's a way of developing that. Now, this is of course obviously only for people who are actually wanting to get into character voices. People that are just doing commercial narration, this is probably not for you. People that are just doing audiobook or radio, this, spend your time elsewhere. This is for people that are going to be pursuing cartoon, animation, video game, possibly anime. That's who this is for. You want to increase your range. And here's another thing. Even if you never use these voices, practicing these voices and developing a whole bunch of different sounds and being able to comfortably talk in those areas and hold them consistently for a very long period of time just works on your natural range. So when you're using your normal voice is so worked and flexed and relaxed that you'll be able to do a lot of screaming and very long recording sessions without tiring out, because you've basically already flexed and worked out and exercised your vocal cords by doing all this other stuff. Now, here's how to get better at it. Here's how to get better at doing unique characters. We all do funny voices and funny sounds when no one else is watching, with friends, in the shower, on the road, what have you. Your goal is to, if this is new to you, anytime you do any kind of unique sound, any kind of unique voice or an accent or something like that, write it down. Have something on Google Drive or some place where you can, maybe a notepad or the note feature on your phone, wherever. Write it down. Give it a simple name. If you do a Russian accent, give this character an occupation. Are they a Russian soldier? Are they a Russian mobster? Are they a taxi driver? What are they? And then write Russian taxi driver, Russian soldier, whatever. And then just keep saying goofy shit. Just say goofy nonsense as that voice. Anything. If you're in the car and you're just driving around, just talk like that character. As if this is what I do, as if you're like a Russian mobster and someone just cuts you off. You're like, you think you can cut me off? I will kill you. I will kill whole family. Everyone will die. You will weep uncontrollably as you look at the ruins of your family, at your feet, the bloody mess that I will leave. That's the kind of shit I do in the car by myself. And that's just me practicing that voice. That's me having fun. That's me just natural stream of consciousness. I'm not forcing it. And this is stuff that I do. And so that will be my Russian mobster voice. And then, as you go on, you will accumulate these. And most people forget a lot of stuff. We forget most things. You will be surprised how many random, goofy, silly, dumb voices or sounds that you make in a week if you actually keep track of it. And then you go back and you just look at it. Now, having the list is not for you to, anytime you do an audition, you have to pull up the list and you scroll through it. No, writing it down helps you memorize it. Writing it down helps you put into perspective what you can do. Now, if it does help you to write it down, that's good. But you're not going to have this list and be always working on this list. It's all going to be up here at some point in time, and you're not going to not going to be scrolling through your phone. You're not going to have an audition. You're going to be and just scrolling through. That's not the goal. The goal is to just get used to the idea of storing these voices in your head, the idea of naming them, and it'll all come natural to you. And then as time goes on, you'll develop a large list. And that's, for the most part, that's it, is you're just memorizing and getting used to various different characters, various different voices. And for a lot of people that say, I can't do character voices, you can't. But not a single person is just born with any talent. There's not any talent on this planet that someone was just born with. He was like, oh, some people are more gifted. Well, who cares? More gifted doesn't mean you can't do it. Saying I can't and then never trying, that's just lazy. That just means you didn't want to. That's it. Just making up excuses. He didn't want to. And if you don't want to do character voices, that's fine. But don't be complaining about it. If you want to do character voices, do character voices. Flex that. Work it out. Exercise it. Be silly. Be outrageous. Be dumb. When no one else is listening or no one else is around you, say the wildest, craziest stuff. The only person who can judge you is God. That's it. And if you can make him laugh, go for it. And that's it. Like, for example, this is just to put it in perspective. A lot of people say that they can't draw. I can't draw. I have no drawing skills. I have no artistic talent. If you can write at all, you can draw. Those exact same skills for writing go into drawing. Because drawing is lines, curves, circles, that's it. Corners, squigglies, that's it. All of that is in writing. Every single language has these shapes. And that's all you're doing. The only reason that you can't draw, and this is an analogy to the character voices, is because you haven't practiced it, because you don't have experience in it, that you haven't tried enough, that you have a backlog of memory of things that you can do. So the idea is to start at 0. You're always going to have to start at 0. You can't get past that. You're going to be at 0, and you have to work your way up if you're not able to do character voices. Now, for a lot of people, everybody does some level of silly voices, whether it's making fun of other people. Every woman has that making fun of her boyfriend or husband voice. You all know what you're talking about. Don't lie. Don't joke. You know exactly the dumb voice. You all do the dumb voice. If that's the only voice you can think of, work on it. Do it. Do it better. Really go to town with it. Make it dumber. Make it stupid and goofy. Go for it. And every guy has, like, making fun of his girlfriend or wife. It's always that weird, like, up and up nasally. Like, these are insult voices. These are just goofy, silly voices. We all do that. It's all stream of consciousness. We're not thinking of it. It just happens. Everybody does that. Go for it. Make it crazier. Make it even sillier. I mean, Bob's Burgers, the mom from Bob's Burgers, that's a guy basically just mimicking, women in his family. Just that I think it was like a Jewish Italian something. I don't remember what it was. But it's a guy, that's basically all he's doing. Is an over the top voice like that. Do that. It's funny. Go for it. Those are the voices that we can do. And we all imitate voices. We all impersonate voices. The way we talk is based on us learning from listening to family and friends and media, whatever it was that we grew up on. So we all started at 0 of not being able to say or make any logical sounds. And then we learned how to make very unique sounds. This voice that we have, that's a voice we learned. You're not actually born with a voice. You're born with nothing. You're born with crying. Incoherent nonsense. No accent, no range, no particular dialect, nothing. We're born with nothing, and then we have to learn it. You always have to learn it. You always got to start from somewhere. So, that's it. That's what the character voice Rolodex playlist toolbox whatever is you storing all these voices in your head to make it easier for auditions and to make it easier for projects. That's it. And the more you actually accept the fact that maybe you're not good at it now, but you will be soon, and you just start cataloging these voices, the sooner it's going to get easier, because then you're going to notice it. You're going to notice that you can do something. And then you're going to get excited. You're going to see progress. That's another reason you make the list, is that you can see progress. You can see, oh, I can do a variety of voices. You're just not thinking of it right now. But the last thing I'll say is don't stress over it. Don't just be hunched over paper with pencil and by candlelight and trying to think of, the next voice that you're going to do and, all that kind of stuff. Don't worry about that. Just let it be natural. Let it flow. Let it be comfortable and natural. All of my voices, all of my character voices, impressions, and everything have all come to me naturally. I've never forced them. I've never just put in weeks of effort. It just happened. I think the only one was the master computer voice, and I already did a video on that, so I'm not going to do that one again. That was the only one that I think really the only one that I actually genuinely put effort into it. But other than that, I didn't have to. I already had a whole bunch of voices in my head. Is that what this comes down to? It's just voices in your head? Huh. Yeah. It's just voices in your head. Bye.